The live stream will begin shortly. Thanks for joining us. This webinar is part of a digital missionary live series organized by Trinity Adventist International Church in Bangkok, Thailand. It is sponsored by community7.org. We are live every Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Bangkok Time. Visit bangkokadventist.com for more details. Please stand by and share this video. The live stream will start shortly.
Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right the joy of thy salvation, and renew a right spirit within me, and cast me not away from thy presence, O Lord. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and renew a right spirit within me, and renew a right spirit within me, and renew a right spirit within me.
Our weekly Digital Missionary live webinar is sponsored by Community7.org. C7 provides sustainable online platforms and management structures to generate technical and financial resources for the evangelistic work in Thailand. We invite you to learn more about Community7 at Community7.org. Again, thanks for joining us today. The live stream will begin shortly.
Father, I have knowledge, so will you show me now how to use it wisely and find a way somehow to make the world I live in a little better place and make life with its problems a little bit easier to face. Grant me faith and courage and put purpose in my days, and show me how to serve Thee in effective ways, so my education, my knowledge, and my skill may find their true fulfillment as I learn to do Thy will. And may I ever be aware in everything I do that knowledge comes from learning and wisdom comes from You. Amen.
How to show them how to do.
Hello, present good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here. We are live now on Zoom, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. Thank you so much for those of you that join us on different platforms, especially those of you that are with us in Zoom. Tonight we have Brother Taf Makuyana, who will be our presenter. I will introduce him later on for you. And we have Pastor Wilter also that is joining us. He is now a repetitive guest on our Zoom call, and we welcome all of you. Thank you so much for being here. And those that are yet to be here, please make sure to invite them to get their text out. You can share this link, you can share this live there at the bottom of your screen. You have the option to share with all your friends, or if you are in Zoom, you can also just click the green button at the top and just share that link, and you are here with us. Today we are discussing about how to secure our Zoom meeting. Just let me check. Okay, it's okay. So today we are discussing how to secure our Zoom meeting. Over the past year and so on, we have our life have been changed, and an app that was previously known by many of us called Zoom has taken over the world with their opportunity for video conferencing. So it's one of the apps that it is more well known today to be used around the world for our church meetings, for our evangelistic campaigns, even for work, for school, for classrooms. It is a app that doesn't need an introduction. But with that in mind, we also want to explore some of the features that it currently has to help us maintain our Zoom meetings safe and secure, the data that is there, as well as our members secure as we are through the meeting. So today we have invited here one of our good friends, Tav Macuyana. He is a developer and a computer science major, programmer per se, and he has devoted the past 2 years to not only work in developing apps for Android and iOS, as well as websites and different other systems, but also has worked with our communication department to set up our Zoom call, and he's part of Community 7 as well. So he has also shared his blessings and his knowledge with us, helping us put together the platform that we today enjoy to support our websites, to support our ministry, as well as these live sessions. So he will be sharing today with us a little bit more about how to secure our Zoom calls. So let us pray as before we start, and we hear a little bit more about him and what we're going to talk about tonight. Let's pray. Dear Lord God, thank you for being with us tonight. As we are here together, Lord, we're going to share. Please be with us. Continue to guide us and fill each one of us in our homes where we are, that we will be able, Lord, today to learn more, to help us be more prepared to share your ministry, continue to do your work online and to those that are around us. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Okay, well, today, with the past few weeks, we have been talking about security and safety online. Now, with these topics, we have been looking at several angles of safety and security. We started from personal security, talking about keeping our passwords safe, how to safeguard our information, our data, how to safeguard our content as content creators online when we have our Facebook account and YouTube accounts, how to keep them safe and secure. We also talk a little bit more about how to keep our ministries safe and secure, how to have layers of protection that will make sure that we will be able to be protected in case that something happens, in case that our accounts are broken into, if they're hacked, or even if we lose them for any reason. What can we do to have a safeguard to protect our ministries, that whatever happens, our ministries will continue to thrive and will continue to be able to share the gospel of salvation to our audiences. And the last part that we talked about last week was about safety and security in our mind and our homes. And we talked about the dangers of the internet and how we can keep ourselves secure and safe from the bombardment of information, of data, of trends and social expectations that are presented to us online. How do we keep ourselves accountable to this time and what kind of details and information we access online? That was what we covered last week. So now, as we continue on our development, we are going to start talking a little bit about some specific areas for our ministry. So today we're going to be talking about Zoom. How do we use Zoom, and how can you and I use Zoom a little bit better? Some of the features that have been developed, because Zoom is an app that is continually changing, that has been updated, upgraded a number of times because of security issues. At one point, I remember that the app was deemed a security risk in the United States, and many people were being asked to please continue using the app, when they implemented very quick changes and updates to the platform to make sure that they were able to remain current and secure for the users. So today we're going to look at some of those features that Zoom have implemented that can help us to prevent hacking to our account, mainly in two areas. One is that when we have our Zoom meeting, how do we prevent people from coming in that we don't want them in? Or two, some of the features that might have to be able to collect information from people and make sure that that information is safe, as well as all the features that have been developed. So today we'll have with us Taf Makuyana, as he presented, and I am waiting for him. He's testing his presentation on the group. Yes, let me make sure that he's here with us. Just let me send him a quick message that he's here already with us in Zoom, but he is preparing his presentation in one of the Zoom rooms. While he comes into our Zoom program, I would just want to welcome some of our regulars here on the Zoom. Thank you, Pastor Wilder. Thank you for being here with us, and thank you for joining us. I know last week you had a lot of problems connecting, and you also had all the meetings going on, I believe. But thank you so much for being here. Mr. Ruben La Chica, thank you for being here. He's one of our very enthusiastic members and online missionaries at TAIC, at Trinity Adventist International Church. And online, we have a number of our members that will join us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. So I thank you all for being here with us. Thank you for your support and for always being part of this, and for sharing this content so we can continue to grow, continue to reach more people. Our videos, although not always live, people have been able to connect with us on our recordings on YouTube and on Facebook, so you can share those as well later on, and people can continue to access that information because the content is there. Some of them have been viewed hundreds of times by different individuals. Now we're waiting here for Mr. Taf, our presenter for today. I'm just texting him here, making sure that he's ready for us. Let's see if I can check where he is. Let me see, where is Mr. Taf? Okay. Okay, let me see if he's safe. I just closed his breakout room. I hope he's still there. Okay, yes, he's connecting now here with us. Okay, great. I can see you now. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, Taf, can you hear me? Are you here with us? I think you are muted. Okay, we have some other guests coming into Zoom. You're welcome to join our Zoom as well and be part of the conversation there on Zoom. So you can ask your questions and be part of the conversation there. Or if you are on different platforms, you can always just text, message us there, and we can be in contact with you. As we go ahead, yes, let me share my personal information so you can continue to share with us and follow us on different social media accounts. We are on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. You have my email there as well. So if you want to connect with us and you want to ask specific questions, or you have a specific topic that you would like to see presented here, please let us know. Please comment to this video, send us a message on the different platforms. There, the top part, if you scan that QR code, you will connect with us on WhatsApp, and we can also have a conversation there. We are working on some very exciting projects right now. I cannot give you too much information, but I think that we are really, really happy of how things are moving and how we are developing different systems for our online community, our online ministry to be here. Let's see, I will check again with Taf and see if he's here with us. Taf, are you here with us? Oh, okay. Okay, great. So we have Taf here.
Ready?
Yes, we can see you here. I will just press prepare the thing for the vision for your for the live stream, and I will just pass it on to you. Okay, with that now I'll leave you, Taf. You are in control, so I leave it with you. Thank you so much for being here, and it's all yours.
Okay, good evening, everyone here. How are you doing? I hope we've all been blessed with the activities we were having, or the series we've been having so far on security, and making sure we keep up to date with what's happening in the world of IT and especially security nowadays. It's a main topic that we need to be aware of. Individually, in our ministries, we need to be secure. The World Wide Web is not the same as before. Anything can happen unexpectedly, or with a simple click of different things, different links, we might get into trouble. So I hope we've learned something for the past few weeks, and we've been you understand the theory behind, or you understand what is happening in the world of security. So today we're going to particularly go into Zoom and see how we can be secure on Zoom. As I'm sure most of us are using Zoom in our churches, Zoom in our personal meetings at home, Zoom in at work. And as you now go into doing your ministry online, Zoom is coming to be one of the top choices of consideration that people are looking at. And you want to see how we can remain secure. Zoom, for the past few months or year, there's a change for the better. So just want to refresh you on the things that you can do, or the things that we are doing, and we want to share our knowledge, especially here at C7, to share how we are handling our sessions, our online meetings, the things that we can take out from, incorporate in our own worships, in our own services online. Thank you for the invitation, Pablo. Thank you very much for the welcome. So let me just hear. So today, instead of having a presentation or having a slide that we can follow along, I thought, why not just try to do everything live? So hopefully everyone can follow and see how and where, other than just reading from a slide. So we can get a better picture on what's happening and what and where you can go for this. So hopefully you can see my my screen. If you can't just nod and let me know. I think I need to change something here. Okay. So here we have Zoom website, zoom.us, in the web browser here that I have opened. But beforehand, sure we are familiar with Zoom. You need to create an account and register for it. There's quite different plans that you can look at. the free plan, Premium, Pro. Sure, we've been reading about and trying to see which one works best for us. Free plan has a bit limitations. Here you can see only meeting can go up to 40 minutes only, and then you need to redo again. Then you have the Pro, can go up to 30 hours as long as you want. And then now you can see you have a pack here that you have 1 gigabyte of cloud recording that you can use, a pack that the free version doesn't have. And then you have here you can do a live stream directly to social media. Fortunately, you can only do one at a time. If it's Facebook, it's Facebook. If it's YouTube, it's YouTube. That's the drawback. But for us here, we use a different platform for that. So then you have other here, business and Zoom United Pro. So it really depends on your on what you on your target, what you're using Zoom for. For us, we saw it as a necessity, as a need that we are using Zoom more. So the Pro version worked for us, and with other add-ons that you can add individually besides just having the Pro. You can go through the website here, choose a plan monthly or annually, depends with your budget as well also. And yeah, so that's just rundown on plans and pricing on Zoom. So once you have that, all of that, you have set in place. Where can you go? What's next? I want to start already having my meeting. I want to start having the meeting. So on the website here itself, you can either join a meeting or host a meeting. But you are already in a meeting, so we're not going to join anything. We're going to talk about the settings mainly. That's why I have here the settings open. And you can go through some of these tabs and see what's there. Familiarize yourself, especially with the website, because the website has more to give than just standalone application, which I'm trying to bring out now to see, okay, if I can show that. Okay, maybe later. So we have the standalone application, the desktop here. I'm on PC, so I have the PC running, and on the mobile, you have Zoom also on mobile. But there's some certain limitations that those two have, and especially when it comes to going deeper into the settings, setting the settings, you might get redirected to the website. So it's always the best thing to come and check on your website first. Another thing before we continue is, if you have any questions, if you have anything, just feel free to put them in the comments, or if you're on YouTube, on Facebook, put your questions there. We'll take a look and try to answer them. I'll try to continue checking the chat to see if there's anything here. If I'm going too fast, you can let me know so I can slow down. Okay, so let's start here. First of all, you as a person, you are the main key point when it comes to security. You are the strong point and the weakness. So your security can go as much as how secure you are. We as human beings, we tend to be the one who go insecure about our things. So as a person yourself, you must be secure. You must be aware that you need to be alert, and you need to be aware. So in the recent past months, when Zoom boomed and people have been using Zoom a lot, it so happened that there were people also who were trying to get into other people's meetings, in other people's worship. For instance, we had an incident here ourselves where someone foreign joined the Zoom meeting, and it wasn't pleasant. It was unpleasant. Chat was exploding and sharing, and the voice and all of that. So it was unpleasant. Unfortunately, it happened. So we learn from our mistakes, but we need to be aware of this thing, that not everyone is good out there. So first thing is, I remember Mr. Pablo shared this last week also, is when it comes to when you've created your meeting, let's go into, for example, here, let's schedule your meeting. You have your meeting ready, and once you have it ready, when you are sharing the meeting, only share that link to people you know, to the people you're directly sending a message to them. If it's on Facebook, you're sending a message directly to them. Because if you do something like put the link of that meeting on a website or on your Facebook, let me take, for example, the meeting for this room here, this meeting. There are crawlers out there. They are crawlers, I can put a term up. They're looking for these particular links, and once it scrapes the site, if it's Facebook, you scrape the site, find the link, automatically opens it and logs that whoever that person is into your meeting. So it makes it easier for these people who have not so good intentions to get into your meeting. So the best way, if you want to share it, especially on Facebook or any other platform you want to share, you put the ID and the meeting ID and the meeting password, if it is a password, in an image. I'm sure some of us already seen the image that we got when I'm just trying to have it open here. Yeah, we got an image with our ID and the password. This one, a crawler or a scraper cannot get anything from here, cannot click on it. You have to manually type. So that's the first thing that you want to think of, especially when you're sharing your meeting with people around. They need to type this, that this someone is who they say they are when they join, not just a robot or any other thing joining. Okay. Creating your meeting here, okay, you give it a name. If you have a pro account that can give you more, you see that you'll have more hours here that you can set, depending on how long you want it to be. And then one thing that I will say to everyone, you should try not to use your own personal meeting ID here. You do have personal meeting ID, that you have your personal ID, I can say, for Zoom. So when you're setting up your meetings, your sessions online, try as much as not to use your own meeting ID. Use the generated one. It's a bit more secure on your end, that so that people will get the meeting that you specifically set for them. So imagine you have let's say board meeting, you have Sabbath school, you have AY going on with your personal meeting ID, and someone knows this ID. You only use this for everything that you use. It comes to a point where if I know the ID, I can come into your meeting at any point, because it's always whatever you're discussing on, I can come in because I know it. So that's one thing to consider. Also, it's thinking, or should think like that. Not, yes, you can say we have good intentions, but there are people who have bad intentions out there. So we have to shield ourselves also from those people. And one more thing that we put now, I'm sure you're now familiar with it. Zoom enforces this a lot, adding a passcode or password to your meeting. So only says here, only users who have this invite link and passcode can join the meeting. So you know that there's people that I sent to, these people that are seeing my ID and the password, which is similar that I just showed earlier. Here in our Zoom here, we have the ID and the password to join this meeting. So we set here. Once you join, you'll be prompted to put the password. If you don't put this and the crawler gets your link, automatically it's inside. And you can already start to think what can happen after that. So good not to put here at the password. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be very secure. Okay, at these days put some special characters. It needs to be, this is a password that people can enter. So you also have a limitation of the number of characters, as you can see here, that you can type also. So you can try to put that as simple as it can, so that it doesn't take up most of the time, most of people's time to join. But if you are not keen into doing a password, it's other thing that you can set instead of a passcode. So say, attend this meeting office, a waiting room. This ensures that whoever joins your meeting, they do not join directly. I'm sure you're already familiar with it. When you join our Zoom calls, you have to wait. It will tell you that you're waiting for the host to let you in. Only the people you know and they follow what you have said. Then you admit the people one by one. As they come in, you already see them. Then you admit or either remove. Or you can set both. They need to enter a passcode, and if they are enter and everything is okay, they're still in a waiting room, waiting for you to, as a host, to let them in. Another thing to look at is the video. This, by the way, before I forget, these settings that we're changing, in particularly for this meeting, they affect this meeting and this meeting only, because that's the one that we are changing and updating, doing the settings on. That if there are two ways to set these things, inside the meeting itself directly and globally, which means all the meetings that will be set after, which we'll look at in a bit when we go in depth here in the whole settings. So these are just directly, specifically for this meeting. So you allow whole video participant and everyone on, and for audio is always good. Can you hear me? I see here there's a comment that there is no audio. Let me just okay, let me just check to see if you can hear me loud and clear. If you can, just put a thumbs up in Zoom here. I'm trying to check here on my second window to see if everything is okay. One, two. Can you hear me? Pablo, can you hear me? How about on the live stream? Can anyone hear me? I'm checking also on the live stream. How about now? Okay, I think this is better now. Seems okay, got it. So is it okay now? Okay, I see here there's a comment here. Okay, so which part did we, let me just verify and check. Sorry for that. So let me just confirm here that everything is and just confirm that everything is fine. It's okay. Hello?
Yes, hello, we are back. Sorry, we had some trouble with the audio here, but now we are okay. Sorry about that, Taf. Please go ahead. Okay.
Okay, sure. Okay, I was just pulling up the stream to see if it's doing fine. Okay, let me just okay. Okay, I think we are okay now. Let's put this back and okay, let's continue. So You already said that, and you, of course, you've allowed people to switch on their video, camera, audio. Both is recommended for you. Or you allow both. People can dial in on with their phone or connect with their computer audio. Then you're ready to start and save that meeting. One thing now to consider is you want people to be able to join your meeting after you've started it, not before. So you need to be able to start that meeting, so you can take this one off. But people can only go into the meeting after you've started the meeting, not before. Yeah. Okay, so that's a quick rundown of setting up some simple settings that you can use for the specific meeting that you we're setting here. Now let's move on to more in-depth things and when it now setting the security for the whole Zoom, for all your future meetings that you'll create and all. So some of these parts here, you see that it's a bit grayed out. I cannot check out because I am using our account now that we're using C7 account to use it as an example so that you can see how that this is actually being used as opposed to using my personal account where it's not being used. So it's require all meetings secured with one security option. Yeah, most of the time you'll have this on by default. So keep it on. And so this part that we're talking about now, we mentioned about waiting rooms before. This affects this specific meeting that we are setting here. This, however, affects all your future meetings that you will be creating after and the ones that were created. So it enables this by default, unless if you override here, if you override anything, you'll have this on by default. There will be a waiting room, regardless of whether you change switch it on here or off. If you don't do anything there, then all will be on here. And then you have here waiting room options. There are with some accounts in plans in Zoom, you can have many people in your organization who are under your organization. So if you have those people in your account, they will skip the waiting room. These are the people that you have trusted and they have an account with Zoom, they've registered, you've added them to your organization or to your user's account. So these people will, once they join your meeting, they will skip the waiting room, they will join directly. Let's say, for instance, those you're hosting a church meeting, you have everyone's email addresses that they will be using. When they join, they will go into the meeting direct. But if other people are joining with the ID, the password, they will go through the waiting room. Then you as a host and or the co-hosts, we will go to co-hosts later. As a host, you can allow them in. That's that option there. And you can customize here, just an addition that Zoom lets you do. You can customize your message here, what you want to edit, and your logo. Maybe you're hosting a church event, so we can put here Trinity logo and nice message for your visitors to read and see when they join. Then, yep, meeting passcode, set it on for all your meetings. Then you will need to have a passcode on, and yep, as well as here now you have your personal meeting, your personal ID, the one that I referenced to earlier on. So you have an option here where there are times when creating a new meeting in all might be unnecessary. So you just starting your own personal meeting and send it to people you want to have maybe a quick meeting or emergency meeting that needs to happen within a few minutes. Then you need to use that personal meeting ID. That's where cases I see it works best for using the personal meeting. You don't need to set up a lot of things and check all of that. Just quick start. and that you still have that option also to have the passcode on, and then here you enter the passcode. This will be used for your personal meeting ID. That's why it's prompted us here to put passcode for us. And then you have this now option for those who are joining through the phone, through the mobile app phone. They will join through, when they're joining you, they will have you have to input the passcode. So can take that on also, because hackers and other people, they know no bounds, whether on desktop, mobile, or tablet, can still program something to go in. So it's always a good idea, good choice to put the password here. Let me check if we have anything in Zoom. Nothing yet. Okay, let's continue. Embedded passcode in invite link for one-click join. This one appears when you create that link that you share to the people in your messenger. You see that they'll just need to click on it, and then they are joining and they go to the waiting room directly. This is why that happens, because that passcode is already embedded in the URL that you send to them, encrypted in a way that even if you see it, it will just be gibberish. When you see that that passcode is already inserted there, they don't need to insert. So you see when you send, or they're directly going to the waiting room because you have switched on this. But if you don't switch on this link here, when you send that, when you switch on this part here, when send them that link, they will still need to enter that passcode. And this part here now is, let me see if we have anything. I was hearing something. Okay. Only authenticated users can join the meeting. This is where now you need to think about this. Your target group. Is it just anyone you would like to allow to join? And bear in mind, you already said that they need to have a passcode. They need to put. They need to be in a waiting room. But now, if you click and allow only authenticated users to join, this means that when someone wants to join your meeting that you set up in Zoom, they need to have a Zoom account. So they need to create an account to be able to join. But if you don't select here, they can join us anonymously. They can still be able to join the Zoom meeting and participate. So this is something that you have to consider. What's the best solution for you, especially now if you have a large group of people that are joining and they have other visitors or inviting people. You might want to have, there are cases where you might want to have this off like this, same with what we have here. So you have to check and weigh yourself as the host, which one is better for you and which one suits your needs, mainly your needs that you are going. And then, okay, if blah, 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 waiting. Then we have the same thing that we were talking about, only authenticated users can join. Now we're talking about the web client, meaning when I, let's see if this will work here. When I go here and try to join here, I can be told to join the meeting or join in from your browser. So you want to allow people who are joining from the browser to just we say these participants need to authenticate prior joining. So it means they need to have been logged in into their Zoom account on the browser for them to be able to join meeting from the browser. So that's also another thing that you might want to consider, is allowing this. I'd also mean if those the bad guys who are access or your this ID or your meeting, especially when it's easier to program something on the web, that can just open up the website and go and automatically logs it in. It makes it easier for them to go in. So you might want to consider this, but for us, we don't allow this because we see it as a security risk. Also, is allowing people to join from their browser. It's poses a security risk to your own to the meeting and to your meeting attendees as well. We have the mobile app we have the desktop app, so why not join from there? But if you have the preference and I want to allow people to join from the web client as well, you can allow them. Then they'll be allowed to join meeting from the browser there. That's why you have that link. Otherwise, they join from either the mobile or the desktop application. And then another thing also is Zoom allows you to block users from certain regions, certain countries, certain, in a nutshell, certain IP addresses from them from joining. So that's another plus that Zoom added for you to check. And if you open this, then you have to specify the region and country that you want to block. Bear in mind, if you're going to share your meeting to people in different regions, they might invite their friends who are in a region that you've blocked, and they won't be able to hear and share them. Our main aim, our main motto, our main drive is to go ye therefore in any land, kindred, languages, land. So this might not be a good option for you to put, because you might be blocking the news to be spread, especially if you want people to join in and listen into your meeting. So here you see us, we leave it off. We want everyone to join and come together here in our meetings, in our sessions, and share the good news of salvation, and share and the experiences, share the love of God that God gave to them. And now, okay, we've touched on authenticating users, setting up your meeting ID, meeting passcode. Does anyone have any thing that they want to add? Any questions they want to clarify first? Maybe you missed something that you want to ask. If you have any questions, let us know. It's your time, and we will try to answer them before continuing. Let me check on Facebook. Do we have anything on YouTube? Is there anything?
Checking and seeing on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, but there's nothing here. There are no questions at the moment.
Okay, so if maybe people are still shy to type their message. How about you? Did you get any questions during the week about Zoom that we can tackle as we go along?
Yes, one of the questions that I have heard a couple of times is how they do to stream from YouTube, so to YouTube from Zoom. So that's something, another area maybe that that goes beyond security, but that's one of the questions that is very common online. To how can people, or can the churches or the members live stream their Zoom calls?
Okay, so how to live stream from Zoom to YouTube and to Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or to YouTube, okay, or just live stream in general?
Yeah, live stream in general.
Okay, so with Zoom itself, if you have the one that let me see if I still have it. Okay, in the plans here, if you have a pro account or pro and going further, you have that option to social media streaming. This is only available for pro accounts going up free. Personal meetings or my free account doesn't have this option to live stream. So if you want to live stream directly from Zoom, it needs to be a pro account or above. That's the first initial requirement that we will have here. So let me just go back and go to that settings for here. So account, we go into account management, and then, okay, let me just confirm back here with my notes, and because I had that for later to just touch briefly on live streaming. So, okay, let's go in. You go here on your admin section, account management, account settings, and you can change more. Most of this is going to be the same, similar to what you saw before. Even goes more in depth on what you can set more on this. However, we want to be able to live stream. That's what we are looking for. So in meeting advance, report to Zoom. The other thing that you can also do is allow people. Okay, before we go into the live stream, so I'm sure maybe people had questions about it, especially on breakout rooms. So initially, if you do not, let me just run through by this quickly. If you do not set your meetings by default to have breakout rooms, you won't have that option in your meeting, in your interface, especially on the PC, to have the breakout rooms, to set breakout rooms. So if you are going to have breakout room set, you need to come to the settings and switch this on and check if it's on. Most of the time, this is off. So you need to click this on and allow you to have breakout rooms. Then when you open start that meeting, you'll have that setting. If I can pull up Zoom here, let me just show you quickly. You have the setting for breakout rooms here. Yeah, here, as you can see here, for breakout rooms.
Taf, are you sharing your screen? I think we cannot see your screen right now.
Yeah, let me check. I think my screen wasn't being shared, only my face, right? Okay.
Yes.
Because I can't see. Let me see here on my second screen what is going on. Okay. Where is the Zoom? Here. Okay, now you can see my screen, right? Okay, so I was just sharing quickly about breakout rooms. So we need to have this section here on. Check it out before you start your meeting. Because if you check it after you start your meeting, you need to end your meeting and then start for your changes to be effective. So any change that you do in your settings need to be before you start the meeting. Now, what I was just showing earlier was when you enable this breakout room. Now, when you are the host, you'll be able now to see this breakout rooms button that you can go to create and assign people to the rooms. Now, going back now further to the live streaming. So here you come here on this side of this section here, admin, and go in account management, account settings. Once you go to account settings, you go scroll further down until you see allow live streaming of meetings. You'll need to turn this on. If it's off, turn it on. Then you select where you want to live stream: Facebook, Facebook Workplace, or YouTube, or your custom streaming service that you have, and then you put in the settings there. Then on your Zoom here, you will have now this section to live on Facebook or live on YouTube. Unfortunately, you can only live stream to one platform at a time. So if it's YouTube, then it's YouTube. If Facebook, then Facebook. Unless if you are using a custom multi-stream platform that you put items or the key that you need to put, the streaming URL, stream key, then you can set this up. As you saw, once I clicked on it, it took me back to the web browser with to set that up, and I go live, it goes live. But we are not going to do that. We are on the live stream. So that's quick touch up on the live stream. So now let's go back a little bit on the settings here. So starting from now in here, in meeting, basic settings that we can set. So we've required people to, we've said that people need to put a passcode. We've said that they need to be able to, when they join, they'll be going to waiting room. That's it. One step, I can say 2 steps that we've done, and in going to be more secure. Now they've joined the meeting. Doesn't end there. Okay, now they join, so everything should be fine. So you can allow people to chat. You can disallow people to chat at the same time in your Zoom meeting. So what we can have here is, as a host, let me just get the chat screen here. So as a host, right now I can chat, hello everyone. One thing to notice is I am not typing to everyone. I'm typing to this specific user. So it needs to be everyone, and everyone gets a message. So this is going to everyone. So you want to think also, am I going to allow everyone to be able to chat? Or if it's direct now message to the person, am I going to allow them to chat there? Or if it's a group discussion, you want everyone to be able to chat on more like a public forum here. I can say everyone can see and can respond, not just directly. So you can set the settings so that, okay, participants can not chat, no one. So if you are in this Zoom, you cannot chat anymore. Your only host can chat. So only me, you will be allowed to chat. Any other participants, no. Or everyone, publicly and directly, which means people can type to everyone or type to a specific, chat to a specific user. But good thing that we have here always set to chat everyone publicly, so they can only chat, or your users that we have will only be able to chat to everyone publicly here, no direct messaging to people. To avoid derailing from the main topic, it sets you as the host to be in control and be able to have a total attention of people listening and paying attention to you. If it's interacting through chat, everyone can see, and they can see the questions, and everyone can chip in and answer and go on with that. So it's always good to just allow people to chat publicly, not just privately. There are cases where we might need to chat privately to a person, especially if it's a participant or you're handling a service online, so you want them to be ready for their next part. You can chat them to that directly. Another thing that I saw that it can be a bit distracting to do here is this notification when someone joins or leaves. It gives you a sound ping, or I forgot that sound. It can be a bit distracting because you're always checking to see what's happening. So we turn it off just to avoid that distraction. Another thing now, as a host, you're handling a large group or a small group. You cannot just, in some cases you can do it alone. There are cases where you want helpers to be with you, and Zoom allows you to have co-hosts that can help you in managing, in admitting people, in communicating with the people you're having your meeting online. So you can set this setting here, allow co-hosts to add co-hosts. This setting here, we have it off because as a co-host, you should not, you have certain things that you should be allowed to do, right? You are just helping the host. So only the host should be able to assign more co-hosts or remove co-hosts. That's why we have this option off here. But if we have it on, then if you someone who is a co-host can assign someone else's co-hosts, then it defeats the purpose of having a host. So the host need to be the one in control of everything. If you are going to have meeting polls, in meeting questions, you can set it up here to have bit funding while the meeting is ongoing. People who have the poll coming on your screen. I'm sure we're familiar with it in Facebook. You can see while the video is going on, it pops up, or are you enjoying? What do you think will happen after? You can have that same similar kind of interaction in your Zoom meeting. So you can turn it on and have it on. These are just other additions in besides security, other additions that you can do for your Zoom meeting to make it more interactive, more fun. It's not just to be serious and really focused on, it needs to be secure, it needs to go like this, like this, like that. Your meeting needs to be fun, needs to be engaging also for your participants, for you yourself as a host. So you can do all of these things that Zoom allows you to do. Now to another most important part is who can share and who cannot share the screen. Because on Zoom, you can share the screen. I can quickly bring out Zoom here. You can see here the button to share the screen and see who is allowed to do this. This is one thing as a host you want to take a look at, and then really consider, because it might happen that yes, someone who has bad intentions was able to pass through and you admitted them unknowingly. But now if you allow everyone to share, you might have an app that just clicking on that share button. So if everyone is allowed to share, they can share anything on the screen, and it can be a bit distracting. But if now you say, okay, who can share? Only the host can share their screen, which means host and co-hosts, they can share their screen. If you are a regular user and you try to share it, to show you an error pop up that the host doesn't allow anyone to share. And as for us here, we set that setting in the meeting, specifically in the meeting direct. So I bring back Zoom here, you'll see that when I click here share, we have already said here that only host can share. But if it's all participants and everyone can share, then you have this option to see start sharing when someone else is sharing on the host. So you want to have control over what is happening, what's going on in terms of sharing, and make sure that what is being shared is not is something appropriate that you have allowed to share. So any more questions regarding this part here when it comes to live streaming? We talked about sharing, and we talked about some other additions that Zoom can let you do, co-hosts. So if you now just to have a quick rundown, you've set your meeting to have a passcode, you've set your meeting to have a waiting room. When they join, only the host and co-hosts are allowed to share their screen. Only host and co-hosts are allowed to admit people inside the meeting. They'll see a pop-up of someone's on the waiting screen. And then only host is allowed to set or give privilege to other people as co-hosts. So with this simple setting that you have in place, you have yourself something that's somewhat secure in a way that it allows you to be relaxed and go on with your program, knowing that you're somewhat secure in your meetings. You're not just allowing any random person to come in and disrupt your meeting. Another thing before I go back to Q&A is when it comes now to speaking, you want to allow who's going to speak, who's not going to be allowed to speak. So here, for instance, you can allow here on the meeting, here allow participants to unmute and mute themselves, or disallow this, which means if they want to speak, they need to request from the host that they want to speak. And then you have things like reactions where you can raise your hand and things like that on Zoom. And then you as a host, you are managing everyone and check, and then you see that, oh, there is someone who's raising their hand, and now you can interact with them. It also lets people know that no, the host is in control of everything. Not anyone can just open their mic and start talking, just shouting. It disrupts also the meeting, especially in a church, online church. It makes everyone be distracted a little bit when there's noise and all of that. So you as a host, you want to make sure that you are allowing people to mute and unmute themselves in an orderly and fashionable way that is not so distracting for your viewers if you're streaming online, and for your meeting participants, people who you have in your meeting. So I'll come back here and ask in Facebook, online, on Zoom. Do we have any other question that you want us to take a look at or share our ideas about all of these things we've learned from doing for quite some time, doing even now. So we can share our thoughts and ideas. It's not that you need to, really need to follow and do what Taf is saying or what Pablo is saying. You as a host, you have control of your meeting. I don't know specifically your needs for your meeting. We can just share our thoughts and ideas of what you can set in place to make sure that your meeting goes smoothly, without any disruptions, without any bad people coming into your meeting and causing some not so friendly sayings, or especially if you don't have that setting for only the host can speak, so anyone can switch on their mic and say something that's not so good and leave the meeting, and you don't know who it is. So you want to avoid cases like that. And okay, do we have anything from Pablo?
Actually, I think you kind of answered it before, but I just want to reiterate. One question I have here is, can you switch on and off during the call, during the meeting, the ability for people to unmute themselves, or it have to be said before the meeting starts, and can it only be unset after it's finished?
You can, okay, you can do that while the meeting is going. Let me just bring back here. So you want people to be able to mute and unmute themselves, or go back here. If you are using Zoom on a PC and it's just on one window, it will appear there. For me here, I have the Zoom, this setting here for the chat popped out. That's why it just shows up like this. So you can set here directly who can unmute themselves. You can change the settings while the Zoom is going on. It doesn't need to be specifically on okay, it's this one for participants. You can, doesn't need to be before. It can be after. You can ask also everyone to unmute themselves if they unmute. So you can change all these settings while the meeting is going on. It doesn't need to be before, it doesn't need to be after. Yeah.
Okay, good. Perfect. Wow, great. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Another question here is, what does that lock meeting means there on the options, on the participants options, the lock meeting?
Okay, yeah, I was going to go to that as one of the final thoughts. So, okay, we'll just go into that directly. So, locking the meeting is basically as what it says here. You're stopping anyone from joining. So whoever is inside is inside. Who is not yet there, they can't join your meeting anymore. It also, especially when you're doing, let's say, meeting for board meeting, and everyone is there. You want to avoid any other person from joining, so it might be advised or wise to lock the meeting. Only allow these people who are here and they need to be here to only be there. Any other person who's trying to join, they won't be able to join the meeting. You've locked it. Hence the main name, lock the meeting, or locking it together. This setting you can change also on the fly while the meeting is going on. You can set it on right now. If you try, someone tries to join, let me just bring here Zoom, unlock. You can see here you have unlocked the meeting. New participants can join. As a host, you see this. You have locked the meeting. No one else can join. So you can change this while on going with your meeting. But I think that you can change also here is you can enable waiting room and disable waiting room while the meeting is going on. This will only affect this meeting that's going on right now, not the whole meeting. I mean, globally settings that are here. Any other meeting is not affected, only for that meeting that you are having at that moment.
Correct. So only the meeting that you have there, and when you restart that meeting, or if you do it again, the general settings will apply. Great. Thank you so much.
The general settings will apply, and the settings that if you have changed anything for that meeting directly here, that will be back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any more questions? Any more small thoughts that people have? I guess 2 weeks ago we had a question about Google Meet. I think we can schedule or have another session that will talk about Google Meet. If people are using Google Meet, that's another online as a service you can use for your church settings. If Zoom might be a bit expensive, you have other options, free options like Google Meet. And
Yeah, correct.
we would let's talk about Google Meet on another day. Today was,
yeah, maybe we can do one other meeting. We can schedule another meeting about alternatives to Zoom, because many of the other platforms have already come up with alternatives. I think Messenger, Skype, Google.
Messenger, Skype, Messenger Rooms, Facebook Rooms. So we have there's so many other alternatives. I guess it will be better, and we to just have that comparison and that alternative to Zoom. Doesn't mean that right now you really need to use Zoom. No, you have options. Zoom is just one option. So you have to take a look at the benefits also of Zoom. It's beyond what we just mentioned now, but you can take a look at what other benefits Zoom can give you, if it's really worth it. And there are alternatives out there, which we will speak about at a later date.
Yeah, we'll schedule that one there, Taf. Thank you so much. We'll have maybe after this week, next week, and the following weeks, we'll take 2 or 3 weeks to talk again about online ministries and reaching out the unreached. So we have a series of 2, right now 2, I hope 3 sessions for the reaching the unreached. So we'll see how that one can be scheduled, and we can go forward as well. We are preparing to launch a few new services for churches and ministries for online websites. So I hope that we're very excited, and we hope that can be presented very soon. But thank you so much, Ataf, for joining us tonight. Thank you for sharing with us all the information. It's really sometimes difficult to go through all of the settings and know specifically what the system that we're using can do and how to stay safe. So thank you so much for joining us here. Thanks everyone for being here with us. Thank you for joining us today. And again, I want this to present that you know that we are here every week at 7:30 p.m. Bangkok time, and we share all information about online digital ministries. So please join us on YouTube, on Facebook, and if you want to be part of the discussion, be part of the conversation here online, join us on our Zoom account every Tuesday at 7. Thank you so much for joining us there where you are. God bless you and have a wonderful week, and until next week, thank you so much to everyone.